Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to finish our line collage. What you'll be needing today is your line collage papers, so you should have your colorful background paper that we made last week and your black paper that had white lines drawn on it. I'm going to put the label to the side, and I'm also going to need a white crayon or colored pencil. I'm going to use a colored pencil today, a scissor, and a glue stick. So we're going to start with our black paper today. So I'm going to put my colorful paper that we made last week to the side. And I'm going to take my black paper and I'm going to flip it over so that our lines that are already drawn on it, these white lines that are already drawn on your paper, are on the back. I'm also going to hold my paper horizontally. So that means it is longest going from left to right. I am not holding it vertically, so it is big and tall. I'm going to hold it horizontally, making sure my lines are on the back. Now with my white colored pencil or crayon, I'm going to practice drawing some lines on my paper. Paper is blending right in with my table. So I'm going to grab a white piece of paper and just put it underneath so you guys can see what I'm doing a little better. There we go. You can see my paper. It is horizontal, longest going from left to right, and like I said, the lines that we drew are on the back. So now I'm going to practice drawing some of our different kinds of lines. So we have so many different kinds of lines that we use in art. Now our first line is a straight line. So right at the top of my paper, I'm going to draw a straight line. My straight line is horizontal, going from the left side of my paper all the way to the right side, and it is just a nice plain flat straight line. Now another kind of line that we can use is a wavy line. A wavy line goes up and down with big curves, kind of like the waves of the ocean or in water, and that again is going to be horizontal, so it's going all the way across my paper from the left edge all the way to the right edge. Now our next line is going to be a zigzag line. A zigzag line is like our wavy line, except it is going up to a point and then back down to make another point. So our zigzag line is made up of a bunch of straight lines that are connected at points going up and down to make almost like mountain shape. So our zigzag line is like our pointy version of our wavy line. And again, I'm drawing that horizontally from the left side of my paper all the way to the right side. Now the next line I'm going to draw is going to be a dashed line. A dashed line is like our straight line, except it's going to be broken. So there's going to be gaps in between our straight lines. So I'm going to make a mini straight line, jump, mini straight line, jump, all the way across my paper. And your dashed line can have tiny dashes or big dashes. It's up to you. Now, like our dashed line, the next line that I'm going to draw is going to be a dotted line. Our dotted line is made up of a bunch of little circles or little dots. So I'm going to dot all the way to the other edge of my paper. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video and catch up. And that is my dotted line. So it is a line made up of a bunch of different dots. The next line I'm going to draw is going to be a castle line. So this line starts out going straight, then it's going to go straight up, back out towards the side, back down, and it's going to keep doing that over, up, across, back down, over, up, across, back down. And this is creating almost like a rectangle shape that reminds me of the top of a castle. So that's why I call it a castle line. Now the next line I'm going to draw is going to be a looping line. So that means it's going to come out and twist up and over itself all the way down my paper. And I'm just going to keep making those loops by going up and over. It's kind of like a roller coaster. I'm going to make those loops all the way across. Now let's think of what other lines we can make. Can you make any different kinds of lines? In the space that you have left, you can make any kinds of lines that you would like. So if you have a favorite from up here, you can draw that line again, or you can make up your own kind of line. Maybe you want your line to be a mix of two different lines. So maybe I'm going to do my line partially like a zigzag, so I'm going to give it some mountains, and then it's going to curve and loop, and then turn into a zigzag line again, and curve and loop. But you can make however many more lines you can fit on your paper in whatever style you would like. For my last little space down here, I'm going to do a line that's with dots and with dashes. So it's having small straight lines and our little dots from our dotted line. Now maybe you didn't have enough space to fit all of these different lines. That's okay. Or maybe you have extra space and you can fit some more lines. Try and fit as many as you can on your paper to fill it up. Once you are done drawing your lines, they don't have to be perfect. We're just practicing drawing different kinds of lines. Then we're going to flip our paper back over and look at the lines that are already drawn. So we have a straight line, we have a wavy line, we have a zigzag line, and we have that castle-shaped line. Now we're going to practice cutting our lines out by cutting along the lines that were already drawn on your paper. So you want to make sure that you're looking at this side of your paper that has the simple lines already drawn on it. You do not want to be looking at the side of your paper that you already drew on. You're going to look at the side that already had 4 different lines drawn on it for you. And you're going to grab your scissor and we're going to cut along the line. So with my scissor, I am putting my thumb in the top hole and however many fingers I can fit in the bottom hole. My scissor's big, so I can fit all my fingers in there, but you might only be able to fit 1 or 2 or 3 in the bottom of your scissor. And when we're using a scissor, our scissor hand stays in the same spot, and our other hand is going to move the paper around our scissor. We open and close our scissor by bringing our thumb up and down. And we are just going to try our best to cut along the lines that were already drawn on our paper. So I'm going to start with my straight line since that one is easy and it's going to be good practice. So looking at my straight line, I am going to take my scissor and open them and close them on that line. Now my scissor hand is staying in the same spot and I am moving my hand that is holding the paper, making sure my fingers that are holding the paper are on the other side so I don't cut them by accident. And I'm just snipping all the way to the other edge, and now I have that straight line cut out of my paper. And if I flip it over, I can see all the cool different lines that I drew earlier. So I'm going to put that one to the side. Now I'm going to look at my next line. So now I'm going to cut out my wavy line. Again, I'm not cutting on the side that has all of our nice designs on it. I'm cutting on the side that had my lines already drawn. And I'm going to open my scissor, bring it to the edge of my page, and turn with my non-scissor hand, with my free hand, as I open and close the scissor, and it stays in the same place. And it's okay if you miss the line a little bit. Try your best to stay on that line as best as you can while you're cutting. Now I have another piece that is cut out. So I'm going to leave that with the other one and move on to my next line, which is my zigzag line. Again, I'm going to open my scissor, line it up, and close it. And now I'm turning my paper with my other hand. This is my helping hand. And closing that scissor, turning my paper, closing my scissor, open, turn, close, open, turn, close, open, turn, close. We want try our best to cut these out in one piece, so following right along with that line. Now I have my last line, that castle line left. So this one looks like I'm going to have to do a lot of turning with my helping hand. So I'm going to open my scissor, close it along that line, open that scissor back up, and turn my paper, close along the line, open, turn, close, open, turn, close, open, turn, close, all the way along, following that line as best as I can, all the way until the end. I can put my scissor away because I don't need it anymore. And now I can look at the pieces that I have left. So I cut out this section and it looks like this on the opposite side on the back because we drew all those amazing designs. And I have all of these beautiful, cool looking line shapes that I cut out from my paper. So I'm going to leave these on my table. I don't need that white paper because I think you'll be able to see because I'm going to grab my colorful paper that is my background paper. I'm going to look through all of the shapes that I cut out from my black paper and decide which pieces I like the best. I think I like this one because it is fancy on both sides. I can see where I cut out two different kinds of lines. Then it has all these great designs in the middle. So I'm going to keep that one. And I think I'm going to keep this one also because it does have a wavy line on one side and a zigzag line on the other. And now let's see what I have left. I have this piece, and my straight line. I think I'm going to take this one and that one, and I'm going to put this one to the side for now. Now you can pick whichever ones are your favorite. You do not have to pick the same ones as me. So now I'm going to line up my black paper on my colored paper to start to create my collage. So a collage is when you're gluing different pieces of paper together to create an image. So I'm going to figure out where I want to place these. I'm lining up the edge of my black paper with the edge of my colorful paper. And let's see if I can fit them all. I think I'm only going to fit 3, so I'm going to put the extra ones to the side and place these where I think they will look best. Now my background paper, my colorful paper, is also horizontal, meaning it's longest going left to right, so that my black paper lines match up with it. I think I like where I put those. I'm leaving space in between so I can see those beautiful colors that I painted last week. And I'm going to grab my glue stick and glue my papers together. Now the way that I'm going to glue is I'm going to take my black piece, flip it over, and add glue on the blank side. So I am using my glue stick. If you don't have a glue stick and you only have wet glue, you can use that also. Just use a couple dots of your wet glue and that will work. So now that I have glue all over the back of that line, so I did not put glue on the fancy side, I can place it on my colorful paper. I'm going to smooth it out and give it a nice massage so that it stays. It's okay if it hangs off the edge a little bit, but I want to make sure it sticks, so I'm going to massage it and hold it down, counting to 10 in my head so I know that it's not going to peel off my paper. And I have my first piece all glued. I think I'm going to face this one that way now that I'm looking at it, and keep that one the way that it is. So I'm going to grab my next piece, flip it over so we're looking at the back, and we're going to add some glue. And now I can glue that down on my background paper. So I'm going to put this one more towards the middle and press it down, massaging it into my paper. And now I have room for my last piece. And like I said, I had 2 extras, which I'm going to save for later. I'm just going to flip this one over, again adding glue on the back, and now placing it on my colorful paper. So I'm going to keep this one up towards the side and do that same thing. I'm pressing it down and massaging it onto my paper so I know that it sticks. And if you see any parts are still sticking up, I see this edge could use a little bit more glue. I could take my glue stick and add a little bit more there. I'm going to roll down my glue stick, put the cap on there so it doesn't dry out, and my line collage is all finished. So I have some beautiful lines that I drew on my black paper. I have some colorful lines that blended together in the background, and I even got to practice cutting out lines today with my scissor. And I glued all of those papers together to make our amazing collage. Once you are finished, you can take a picture of your collage and share it with me on Canvas. So you're going to click the next button at the bottom of this page and go to our assignment page, where you're going to click that blue Submit Assignment button. And you can take a photo or a video of your project to share it with me. Now you're going to have 2 extra pieces, or maybe even more. Maybe you only have 1 left. It depends what you were able to fit on your paper. And you can do whatever you would like with these papers. If you want to save them in your art folder for another collage that we will do in the future, you can do that. If you want to make some different art out of them, you can do that. Or if you want to add them on the back of your paper so you don't lose them, you can do that as well. It is totally up to you, because we won't need those anymore. Once you're finished and you've submitted your assignment, you can put your paper, if it's dry, in your art folder. I can't wait to see your beautiful line collages. Try your best, have fun, and get creative. Bye!